Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV. Today I have got a bit of a comparison video now. I'm not comparing these two players by the title. I'm comparing Jordan Henderson and Steven Gerrard, but I'm not comparing these two players to find the conclusion or give you the conclusion that one's better than the other. In fact, I think you've already clicked on this video answering the question of the title and basically saying Steven Gerrard, Steven Gerrard, Steven Gerrard, which is absolutely okay. The point of this video isn't to try and give you the perception that Henderson is better than Gerrard, because even I do not believe that in the slippery slightest. Believe me, I would be, it would go against my blood, it would go against what is the biggest legends in my lifetime. Obviously, people talk about King Kenny, who I absolutely admire, Ian Rush, another legend that I admire, but Gerrard was in my time. His career took over literally pretty much over the course of my life, so I always have that sort of personal connection with Steven Gerrard. But the point of this video, like I was touching on before, is I don't feel like Jordan Henderson gets the credit he deserves as captain. I feel like he kind of gets looked at by not by still some Liverpool fans, but mostly opposition fans and neutrals, and we shouldn't care about what they say. Fuck off. As if we should care about what they say. We're the Premier League champions, mate. But this is just to give those few Liverpool fans and them neutral fans more of a perspective of how good and how important of a captain Jordan Henderson is to Liverpool Football Club. And I feel like the only way I can do that is by comparing him to someone who is undoubtedly a legend, not only for Liverpool but in the Premier League, and will be for years and years and years to come. Probably forever. And even the people who feel like Jordan Henderson is a good player, is sound, I feel like in my opinion, and I can only speak from my perspective, let me know in the comments down below what you think, but I think Jordan Henderson is a criminally underrated player. What quantifies an underrated player? I think it's when their technical ability is ignored, their presence on the pitch is ignored, and a lot more other things that go into it that quantifies a true leader and a true captain. That's ignored when it comes to Jordan Henderson. And the fact that he's been the captain of Liverpool since 2012, our longest serving player, not only that, he's been through heaps of shit. He's played with some fucking dead teams, and us Liverpool fans know that he has played for some dead teams. Believe me, I was a Liverpool fan hating on Henderson a couple of years ago, saying how the fuck is this our captain, like, with all due respect. But he has turned it round, but I still don't think he's given the homage that he absolutely deserves. So the way I'm going to do this is I am going to be comparing the two, but the way I'm going to do this is just by asking a few questions, giving you a few answers, a few stats, and just a different perspective of our captain Jordan Henderson. So the first question that I want to ask is, who was the better individual player? So I've got Steven Gerrard's appearances, I've got his goals, and I've got his assists, and I've got the same for Jordan Henderson. So I'm going to tell you Steven Gerrard's first. So Steven Gerrard played 710 times for Liverpool, scored 186 goals and accumulating 145 assists, which is fucking boss, mate, you know what I mean? Jordan Henderson, in comparison, has got 366 appearances for the Reds, 29 goals and 48 assists. Now, what does this tell me? What this tells me is, listen, when you talk about who was the more better of an individual player, then you've absolutely got to go with Steven Gerrard. He just, the link-up play that he had with players like Fernando Torres and Luis Suarez was just something to be adored, was something to be admired, and believe me, I admired it. The game against Manchester United in 08-09, yes, I am giving us reminiscence, because that was a beautiful day when Torres left Vidic on his arse, and that was just a prime example of what Steven Gerrard had to offer when it did come to them type of players, because Steven Gerrard was usually the best player of what was a fairly average bunch, and when we would get the quality of a player, of a Xabi Alonso, or Luis Suarez, or a Fernando Torres, you saw the absolute quality that shone through Steven Gerrard, and it does make you question. Obviously, he's our boy and always will be, but if he joined a different club, just imagine what he could have done being surrounded by a bunch of Galacticos or a bunch of players from Barcelona, or maybe he needed to be around them average players to be the one to stand out. He also just had more of the ability to get fans off their seat, and if you're a Liverpool fan and you've been alive for, let's say how long I've been alive, in and around 18 years of age, so 2 years younger or 2 years older. So in and around there, you've saw quite a bit of Steven Gerrard. Don't you dare say any player has got you off your feet more than Steven Gerrard did, because believe me, I don't think they did, and they wouldn't have generated the level of excitement that Steven Gerrard could for Liverpool fans. However, to put it in perspective, when you're comparing the two players as individuals, let me just tell you this about what Klopp had to say. So he said this is a quote from Jurgen Klopp himself. Yes, he is exceptional. Yes, he is outstanding. If anyone who's with us still doesn't see the quality of Jordan Henderson, then I cannot help him. Is Hendo the perfect footballer? No. Do I know anybody who is? No. He is unbelievably important to us, yes. That just tells me in itself, the greatest manager in my lifetime, not only the greatest manager in my lifetime, but you've got to put him in the conversation of top three, no more than top three best managers of all time for Liverpool Football Club, and he's slowly creep up in that conversation for the best manager of all time in the Premier League. I'm not saying he is, but he's, like I said, he's putting himself in that conversation, and for him to be saying that about a Jordan Henderson is unbelievable. You remember all the way back in 2012 when Sir Alex Ferguson said Jordan Henderson runs weird, and he was basically discrediting Jordan Henderson as a player. It's amazing that another manager like Jurgen Klopp can come in and just absolutely shut the greatest manager of all time. And I do this because it is up for debate, but I would say Sir Alex has the edge in terms of the greatest Premier League manager of all time. But for someone like Jurgen Klopp to say that, and look at what Jurgen Klopp had at the start, and look at the team that he's ended up getting now, and the fact that Jordan Henderson is the only one remaining in what is arguably, in my opinion, the best team in world football, that has got to speak volumes. Still not really convinced? Okay, that is absolutely okay. Let me give you this stat. Liverpool with Jordan Henderson won 90% of their games last season and only lost 3.33%, whereas Liverpool without Jordan Henderson won 50% of their games. People, deep how mad that is. 50% without Jordan Henderson. That is insane. That is insane. Losing 33% of them games. That shows, if you can't see what Jordan Henderson does on a football pitch, that stat in itself, and people say stats don't speak volumes, I think that stat is one that speaks volumes, mate. In my opinion, that speaks the loudest of volumes, because that is unbelievable. So when it comes to the question, when I ask you the question and you ask me it back, who is the better individual player out of Steven Gerrard and Jordan Henderson, I absolutely have to say Steven Gerrard. And anyone who would say Jordan Henderson just will get a slap in the face. But the point is, to put it in a perspective for those people who were disrespecting them massively, when you look at it from that view, you've got to give him a little bit more respect. Anyway, we're not done with the comparisons. I'm also going to compare their trophy cabinet, because when it comes to who was a better player, because that is the comparison that we're doing right now, we already kind of know the answer, but we're still going to try and find as much things as we can to compare these two players. I think the trophy cabinet is a good way to look at it, because when it comes to how good a player is, it usually does depend how much silverware they've got in the trophy, how much it will weigh if you put it on the scale. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. Starting off with Steven Gerrard. His club honours, so his trophies, is 2 FA Cups, 3 League Cups, 1 UEFA Cup, so Europa League, 1 European Super Cup, 1 Champions League, and in total that is 8 trophies. And you know, that's a really good return, and that's his overall 17-year career at Liverpool Football Club. Whereas Jordan Henderson, who bear in mind has only been here since 2012, so he's been here for what, 8 years, 7, 8 years, on top of the fact he's only 30, so he's still got time to go. He has won a League Cup, which was actually with Steven Gerrard, a European Super Cup, a World Cup, a Champions League, a Premier League, and that in total is 5 trophies in his trophy cabinet. But like I said, he's got more time to fill on that. Steven Gerrard never retired from Liverpool till he was like 34, 35, I feel. And like I said, that League Cup was, I think, his latest trophy. But listen, there's a trophy there that Gerrard's got that Henderson doesn't, and the same vice versa. Gerrard's got the FA Cup, which Henderson hasn't won. Jordan Henderson has got the almighty Premier League, which obviously we all jokingly know that Gerrard doesn't have, as we hear it every fucking day from Chelsea fans, because they're knobheads. But when you put it if I form it in this sentence, Steven Gerrard has only 3 more trophies over a 17-year span. Just imagine what Henderson's played for this club for 9 years, and just think about the team that Henderson is in compared to what Gerrard was in most of the time. believe me, I think this stat could change even within the year. Now, Henderson is 30 years of age, and when you look at Gerrard's career, this is when Gerrard did start to kind of dip, but you cannot say he was still at the peak, at the end of his peak, sort of, when he turned 30, and then it started slowly going down, but you cannot doubt he was still one of the best players in the Premier League at the best part of his early 30s. So, even though Gerrard has 3 more trophies, let's just assume, because if you go on a likelihood and you're going to make a bet on it, you would assume Henderson does end up with more than 8 trophies with Liverpool Football Club. I call me crazy, call me insane, but we have just won a Champions League very recently. We have just won a Premier League very recently. Therefore, I'm not putting that out of the realms of possibility. So we're just going to think from a perspective that Henderson is going to win more trophies. Let's say he ends up with 10. Let's just say hypothetically he ends up with 10. Does that change your mind about at least the level that Jordan Henderson is at than what you had before? So if you rate Steven Gerrard all the way up here, are you at least putting Henderson from here to at least there? Are you at least putting him more in that category? Because I don't mind people not saying he's better than Steven Gerrard, but you have got to put him in the conversation with some of the best captains this Premier League has to offer. That's why I'm making this video. I'm still not actually done either, by the way. I've still got more things that I want to fucking prove, because believe me, I feel it's important that people realise just how good Jordan Henderson is and the qualities and traits that he puts into this squad, which, by the way, I say again, is the best team in the world, and that just doesn't come without a captain or a fluky captain. That comes with a true leader. Like I said, though, I'm not done. Who had the better characteristics? I feel like this is another thing that we have to throw into the mix when it comes to saying who was overall a better player. Like I said, we already kind of know the answer, but we're having fun with it. So, characteristics. Steven Gerrard, let's look at it as he was the bigger game player. You know, that's one thing that's fair to say. Let me give you a couple of examples. Champions League 2005, FA Cup 2006, single-handedly basically gets us both of them trophies. You could say, instead of Liverpool FC, you could write Steven Gerrard, and I would be okay with that, because without Steven Gerrard, believe me, we don't get them 2 trophies. He was a born leader, and we known this when he was just given the captaincy. Not only this as well, we knew no matter what level was around him, he was still going to be the man to stand out. And also, when you talk about characteristics, regardless of the altercations that might have happened over what was a 17-year career at Liverpool Football Club, and I'm just talking about professionally, he was a one-club man. He was a one-club man, and that gives you advantages over other players like a Jordan Henderson, that no matter how good Henderson is, we're always going to gravitate more towards Steven Gerrard, because he's one of us. And even fans from different places, yes, they might not be a Scouser, but they even look at Steven Gerrard because he's from the roots of this city. He is for the football club that you love, that is located in the city of Liverpool. Steven Gerrard was brought up here, and this is where he learned all of his greatness. So that is admired, but do not forget when I tell you Jordan Henderson has been, when you talk about characteristics, how about this? Signs under Kenny Dalglish, wins a League Cup, and it's all downhill from there. Downhill from a League Cup, by the way. This is a kid who was coming from Sunderland, to be fair, but never was he expected to endure the amount of shit that he's taken, and some of it deserved, some of it not really. But let's look at it from the start. Wins the League Cup. Then he has that standout season in the 13-14 season under Brendan Rodgers. Looks very, very good. And then it just starts to change. Luis Suarez goes, some of the bigger players goes, and then it starts to form more towards him. And a lot of people would accuse him for just passing his sideways all the time, not really offering much to the team. And believe me, I was one of these critics. I was thinking, how is he our captain? How is he taken over from what was the greatest captain of all time? But that's the thing. He had such a comparison. You've got to bear in mind the level of player that Steven Gerrard was not the level of what our team was when Steven Gerrard left. So to expect anyone of what was in that team, Felipe Coutinho, Jordan Henderson, or Raheem Sterling, you could not expect any of these players, even like Martin Skrtel and all that, you could not have expected any of these players to step up to the plate and become captain. We were arguing for the new signing, James Milner, to become captain. That's how desperate we was. But it fell to Jordan Henderson. Jurgen Klopp even stuck with Jordan Henderson. And what shows me a fight, leadership, all them qualities that quantify a true leader, and the characteristics that I want to see in my captain is someone who's going to overcome adversity and never give up, and that is Jordan Henderson in a fucking nutshell. He's went from playing around Mario Balotelli and Fabio Borini to fucking playing around Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah, and that's because he's stuck in this team, and that's because of what he has offered to this team, and now we're all seeing it. So when it comes to who has the better characteristics, maybe Gerrard wins this one as well, but the point that I'm trying to give you is Jordan Henderson offers so much when it comes to this conversation. It's not like you can just disregard him. That's the point that I'm trying to give you. I'm comparing him to the greatest Premier League Liverpool player of all time. I'm comparing him to arguably the greatest player to have worn a red shirt of all time in most people's eyes. And the fact that I'm even able to have this conversation with you should speak the volumes that it is to me, at least. But listen, the conclusion is both captains were fucking amazing. If you ask me, Steven Gerrard or Henderson, based on everything that I've just gave to you there, everything beforehand, of course I go with Steven Gerrard. Like I said, all the reasons that I've gave in this video, he's scouse, he makes me feel like I can be a superstar. He just gave, when he left, the awe of the club just felt so different and so weird, and it didn't feel right without a Steven Gerrard in the Liverpool shirt. But now I've came to terms with it, and now I can accept it more because I'm very happy with the captain that filled his boots in Jordan Henderson. And whether you're a neutral and you've watched this till the end, or you're a red and you've watched this till the end, my aim was not to convince you Jordan Henderson was better than Steven Gerrard, or even on the level of Steven Gerrard. I was just trying to offer to you simply that it can be a conversation, and Jordan Henderson can be in that conversation. And if he can be in a conversation with one of the greatest midfielders in the Premier League history, if not the greatest, then we need to start putting him in that conversation, people, and stop saying he does nothing. And when you look at ratios like what I gave you before about win percentages, about what Jurgen Klopp says about him, we could even have to start putting him in the conversations of Steven Gerrard and Vieira's when time has gone by. I'm not talking about as an actual individual player in terms of ability. But listen, I've made my point and I think you get it. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. Have I changed your perspective on Jordan Henderson, the level of player that he is and what he actually has to offer? I really would love to know. Or am I a cunt? Have I just wasted 20 minutes of my life doing a comparison that really shouldn't have been made, and you just still think Jordan Henderson's shit? Also, let me know. Like I said, all opinions are welcome to the James Redmond TV YouTube channel. But that is the end of this video. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. What are you doing if you haven't, boys? We got 10,000 subscribers the other day, yeah, and now we're on 10.6. What world does that happen? Only the James Redmond TV world, and I love every single one of you for it. You're all boss, you're all amazing, and this is why I am throwing out these videos for you, which I can't believe I'm about to say this, boys, but every day. If you go and look back to the start of my channel, look at the consistency view. It's like 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It's like a video every month or two, and then now you are seeing top-notch consistency, and I don't mind if I diddly do, because as McDonald's say, I'm loving it. Anyway, thank you again and again. Make sure you fucking subscribe if you're not already, because we're on the course to 11k, boys. But make sure you're interactive in the comments and all that good stuff. Peace.